one of the issues that hasn't been talked about a lot is the tariffs, and the tariffs that have been proposed by Donald Trump if he becomes president of the United States again.
Donald Trump doesn't really understand the economy, nor does he care to either, really. But he wants to run on it. And one of the ways he's decided he's going to make money for the American people is by charging unbelievably high tariffs on any imported goods from anywhere but here.
John Deere Company, it's a venerable, old, great American company. Yeah. But if they're going to move plants to Mexico and then try to sell stuff back to the U.S., sneak in under, for example, the USMCA tariff schedule, you would charge them a 200% tariff.
Or 100%,
right,
enough.
100%
I would charge them enough that it would no longer make sense to go to Mexico.
So they wouldn't do it.
They moved a big operation to Mexico.
Now, he's threatened these tariffs on lots of different companies and countries, but the one that keeps coming up is this weird tariff on John Deere if they move their manufacturing to Mexico and then ship the product into the U.S.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company. But as you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States, so that if I win, John Deere is going to be paying a 200%. They haven't started it yet. Maybe they haven't even made the final decision yet, but I think they have. John Deere is going to, and anybody else that does this, because it's hurting our farmers, it's hurting our manufacturing. And if you do that, you're going to have a 200% tariff put on the product that you make in Mexico, right across the border. They think they're going to make product cheaper.
Who do you think? I'll give you 3 guesses. Put them in the comments below. Who do you think is going to pay the tariffs on John Deere if they do follow through and move to Mexico and Trump gets reelected and he imposes these 200% tariffs on John Deere when they ship their product back into the U.S.? You think it's going to be John Deere? Think it's going to be the CEOs just eating that money? Or do you think they're going to pass that price onto the consumer? Which, you don't even need 3, just 2 guesses. You have a 50-50 shot. Which one do you think is more likely to happen? Ding, 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 ding. You are correct. It's the consumer. The consumer is going to eat that cost. Do you know how much tractors are right now? Already? Do you know how much farmers go into debt to buy tractors so they can farm? For people who are farmers and that's how they make their living, and they have to have like high horsepower industrialized machines that can cost up to $600,000 right now without those tariff prices for one tractor. And that's just to buy it. That's not maintenance. You know, you have your car, you have to go in and get your oil changed and rotate your tires and buy new tires and all the maintenance things. That's just the initial cost of the tractor. That's not the other tractors you have to buy, other machinery you have to buy, workers you have to pay maintenance on the tractor. That's one tractor. You think farmers make that much in return? They don't. Oh, John Deere wants to move to Mexico. Oh, it's hurting our farmers. You know what's going to hurt our farmers? A 200% tariff being passed on to them when they have to buy their tractors next year.
We're going to be doing a lot of things, but we're lowering taxes. We're going to use tariffs very, very wisely. You know, our country in the 1890s was probably, Marcia, probably the wealthiest it ever was because it was a system of tariffs. And we had a president, you know, McKinley, right? You remember Mount McKinley, and then they changed the name. But one of those things, he was really a very good businessman, and he took in billions of dollars at the time, which today it's always trillions, but then it was billions and probably hundreds of millions. But we were a very wealthy country.
Let me tell you what'll happen. If we impose tariffs the way Trump is saying we should, we will explode the cost of living by hiking the prices of necessities like farm equipment, food, all that kind of stuff, and it will cripple the economy. You think the economy is bad now? It will cripple all of us, starting with the farmers. if you are a farmer and you are somehow watching this and also a fan of Trump, Trump is not a friend to you. He says he's a friend to you. He is not. And any farmer worth their salt's probably going to already know that. But I guarantee you, anything he does will cripple you too.
A massive tariff like what McKinley had when we're not a manufacturing economy like he had then. And they had a recession then for 5 years.
Right.
What you're talking about is your imported tequila, your imported beer that comes from Mexico, your imported beer from Germany,
Exactly. And
your TVs, your video game systems, all of it goes up by the percentage of that tax.
And to be clear, there's a place for tariffs, right? When you see like steel dumping from China, and the Biden-Harris administration have been very strong on that and keeping those tariffs in place. I mean, there is a place for it. But he would have this be a global-wide national tariff that would amount to this tax, as opposed to using it when necessary with specific industries and specific countries.
Right. And they're coming right out and saying, yeah, this is going to cost the American taxpayer more money.
How those tariffs specifically have impacted our farmers. Mr. Stokes, are you aware of the impact that the tariffs that were imposed during the previous Trump administration, how that impacted our farmers?
Well, I think broadly speaking, the tariffs on the one hand are, meant to be a tool to combat unfair trade practices by China, but on the other hand, they impose costs on consumers in the United States. So in many ways, we've got to kind of strike a balance, because we haven't been able to deal with unfair trade practices from China effectively, and this has been one of our most effective tools, but it does come at a cost for middle-class people, and so we've got to strike a balance there, and that's, in general, how I would approach the tariff issue.
Didn't really answer the question, but also at the same time, did answer the question. Companies that outsource work to foreign countries are not going to be paying those tariffs. They're going to raise the prices on their goods, and you are going to eat that money. You. Big companies have already shown us, they have already proven to us time and time again that they are willing to, they can, and they will raise prices. For example, the current plan for, Kroger and Walmart to raise the price of water when it's hot outside, which is something that should be able to throw you in jail. If they're willing to raise the cost of water when it's hot outside, they are more than willing to pass those tariff prices on to you. They're not going to eat that money. You are. Don't let Trump trick you into thinking he knows what he's talking about when it comes to the economy, and that whatever it is going to be good for you. Because what he is proposing will implode our economy, and it will make what is already unbelievably unaffordable even more unaffordable. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out some of my other content that maybe isn't so much of a downer, you can check out my personal YouTube channel at Bad Gamer Wyatt. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.